Hello everyone, Kate here with a seasonal TBR. I was in denial that I was doing a TBR for a long time. I was calling it Winter Fairy Tale Plans, and then I was expanded a little bit beyond fairy tale to enchanting winter reading plans. And I finally realized it's a TBR and I'm putting it up, and I know that sometimes it can be frustrating as a viewer to have someone hold up all of these books that sound interesting and then they don't read them and you wanted to know what they thought of them. But I also know that selfishly, it's very fun to share this list of books that I am excited about. And so that is what I am doing. It is sparking joy and wonder for me. So we're here to do this more pile of possibilities than a TBR, because I think it is probably prudent for me not to agree to any buddy reads out of this list, because you can ask anyone that has buddy read with me over the past couple of years, and I have been a really terrible buddy reader. I sometimes just don't reply to messages because the more ill that I've gotten, the more it feels like a task that my brain has to work really hard on kind of digesting the thoughts. What I really do enjoy is discussing books in a book club meeting. That's what I really love doing. That's a way. So I think if I just hold this loosely as a pile of possibilities and I don't have any buddy reading obligations, hopefully then this will just feel like a sheer delight and something fun. And especially regarding buddy reads, I am committed January through June to a buddy read each month. And so that is, I'm going to be reading alongside a group of people on my Patreon. We're going to be reading through Anthony Trollope's Barsetshire series. And I am going to be, the first Monday of each month, we will discuss the prior month's book, and we'll do it in the evening, my time. So I am excited about that, but I am apprehensive about what kind of a buddy reader I'll be for that. And that's why I'm hoping at least if I'm kind of neglectful of the Voxer chat that's happening, that I can then contribute in a better way to the actual discussions that are going to be happening on those first Mondays of the month. But I'm really excited about this plan. Winter is coming, and it is a time that I think just there's not long daylight and your morale can really suffer. So I am going to combat that with this enchanting reading plan. And a lot of the Betsy Ray reading winter inspiration prompts, these really fit for that. And I am planning on slowly but surely filling out all of those prompts, but I like having not decided which books I'll use for which yet. And in addition to that, I will link, I made a few years back a Enchanted Winter playlist. And this is for those of you that like to have music on while you're reading, or maybe you just want to have it on when you're puttering around the house or you're doing errands and you like to have nice music on while you're doing errands. And it is mostly nice soundtrack music. And there's certain movies that I typically think of more for wintertime than I think of for other seasons. And so I picked those. There might be a couple classical pieces of music sprinkled in there. I can't remember. But regardless, that playlist is there. And even if you are not a Spotify user, you could go to the desktop site with the link and you could note down the titles. And maybe if you have access to that music another way. So that playlist is there. And so that will be how I am finding fairy tale enchantment with music. So then I have 3 other plans for my winter fairy tale, but broader than that, enjoyment. So the first is picture books. I really love to see the way that different illustrators interpret fairy tales with their illustrations and how dark they make them or light and bright. There's so many different styles and ways that they can do it, and more understated. And I really just am excited to get to enjoy these and just to get to take in the beautiful artwork. So I will say that Jan Pienkowski, we do have a bind up. I think it's only 4 fairy tales, but this is a really beautiful collection. It was so funny because I found it at the library, and then literally that week, my mother-in-law sent Arthur a copy of it for his birthday. So I was so excited that our household can own a copy of that because I love Jan Pienkowski's illustrations anyway, and I love fairy tales, so everything came together just perfectly. And so then I'll just, in the comments, in the description box, I'll have these illustrators listed, but I will maybe put up, a picture of a book by them. So first is Ruth Sanderson. She has a really beautiful way that she uses light, and pictures often in hers look like they're glowing. And I am excited to really dive deep. Whatever the library has, I'm not planning on purchasing any picture books for this. Just I'll type in the illustrator's name in my library catalog and see what they have. Then KY Craft. I feel like she's a very iconic fairy tale illustrator. Then Trina Schart Hyman. She has a very different style from those 2 illustrators. And I think that there is a lot of darkness in fairy tales, and I like when artists aren't afraid to show that, because the world can be a very scary place. And so I do think you don't want to share all of the evil that's in the world with children, but you want to give it kind of in controlled amounts and show that there is evil out there in the world, and you can be someone that pushes back the darkness. So I like that Trina Schart Hyman includes those in her pictures. Then Juan Wijngaard, I just looked up, fairy tale picture book illustrators. I don't think I've actually read any of his. Jacqueline K. Ogburn, another new illustrator to me. Marianna Meyer, another new illustrator. PJ Lynch. And PJ Lynch, I have loved every single thing that I have seen of his illustrations. Now, I am very excited because I just ordered, I didn't realize until I think this week that he has his own version of 'Twas the Night Before Christmas. So I'm very excited that my library had that. And then Robert D. Sansui. I don't believe I've ever read any of his or I've seen his illustrations, but I could be wrong. Sarah Gibb, I own her copy of Cinderella, and I love how it looks. And then Bernadette Watts is a name I had not heard before all of my Christmas picture book holds, and I really love the look of her art. It's very soft and just looks very different then from some of the more defined illustration styles, and so it will be a really cool variety. So if you have a fairy tale picture book that you think, Kate, you really have to get a look at this, please let me know in the comments, and I would love to check it out. Okay, then my next category are movies. So I've been talking a lot about the movies and TV that I have been consuming. They have just been so consoling, a consoling way to pass the time. And I paused my Disney watching project for the month of December because I have so many Christmas movies that I want to be watching. So I am planning on resuming my Disney viewing in the new year. Now, I am a little bummed that I thought of this fairy tale plan, and I very recently have watched Snow White and Sleeping Beauty, and I loved them so much, and I don't want them to at all lose their kind of wonder. So I'm going to wait a little bit before I rewatch those. But because it's such a different vibe and a different time period it was made, I may watch Frozen 2 again. I watched it 2 times this fall, and I really love Frozen 2, and I am not a Frozen, huge Frozen fan. I could take it or leave it. I didn't dislike it, but Frozen 2, I'm already really hankering to watch it again. I just love it. Then 3 Wishes for Cinderella. This is a Nordic winter setting Cinderella. And if you have watched the original 80s 3 Wishes for Cinderella, this is very much a remake of that. Although it does go off the rails a bit later on in the story, and there's kind of side plots with side characters that I'm not as interested in. but because it's so beautiful to watch, and Astrid, she's a famous singer, she stars as Cinderella, and it's beautifully shot. So I watch it for the cinematics. And then Ever After, very classic Cinderella tale, and it's just so beautiful. It has been ages since I watched the 90s Beauty and the Beast, so I am really getting quite excited to watch that. And I read that Beauty and the Beast retelling that I was very surprised by how much I loved it, called Beauty Reborn. And it actually made me realize maybe I can enjoy Beauty and the Beast retellings. It's not generally one of my favorite fairy tales, but with how bookish it was and the enchanted castle, all of that, I thought, oh, okay. So maybe there are parts about it that I could like. And the reasons for Belle's captivity in the castle, I could suspend my disbelief kind of for it. So there is, I'll tell you later about a Beauty and the Beast retelling that I am excited for. Then Tangled and Brave. I don't know why I think of those two together. I think because I watched them for the first time close together, and I just fell completely in love with them. And Brave, it was very fun because I got to see it at a drive-in movie theater. And I think that's the last time I've been to a drive-in movie theater. And I just, I'm very excited to watch it because I think it's been over a year since I've seen it. And then both the 2015 live action Cinderella and then the very iconic 40s cartoon of Cinderella. Very excited to rewatch both of those. I did watch the Cinderella 1940s cartoon sometime in the late summer, and I was just in awe of the animation. So I'm really appreciating Disney's, the hand-drawn animation era. It's just quite a thing to behold. Then The Little Mermaid. It's been so long since I've seen that one. I don't know how long. And then Aladdin. I really want to watch that. And Peter Pan. I so enjoyed the novel of Peter Pan this past year. And so I'm really looking forward to watching the movie. They are quite different, but I think it is a really lovely nod to Peter Pan. Then, so excited that winter means it's time for a rewatch of Ladyhawke. My love for this movie knows no bounds, and my boys love it as well. It's just a beautiful, beautiful story of sacrificial love. And it does have a very anachronistic soundtrack, but I don't mind. I don't mind. It's just a beautiful, beautiful story. And then Stardust. I don't think I really feel like reading the book ever, but I just love this movie. It's such a fun movie. Then The Glass Slipper. This is a very sweet, sweet bread and butter retelling of Cinderella. And I watched it this summer, and I'm already really in the mood to watch it again. So if you have a fairy tale film that you think, Kate, please watch this, please leave it in the comments. I love to have more ideas for inspiration. Now for definitely the biggest section, and these are the books. So I have fairy tale retellings, historical fiction, and fantasy. Those are kind of what are going with my enchanting winter reading. So first is, I will just include a link to Amy from Amy of Hearthridge, her channel, because this is, a lot of these are, it's heavily inspired by Amy, and she just is a wealth of recommendations for books that I know I will love. So the first is Shades of Milk and Honey, and this is a fantasy of manners, I think is the genre. And it's set in the Regency era, and there is magic involved, and there is a few years back I read Her Caprice by Keira Dominguez and fell completely in love with it. And when I can read physically again, I will really be in the mood to reread that. So very excited about Shades of Milk and Honey. Then Mystery of Black Hollow Lane by Julian Noble. This is a middle grade book, and it sounds like it's an American girl whose mother sends her to boarding school in England, and I think it's got kind of some darker elements, so that's why I feel like it kind of fits the fairy tale vignette. For all I know, it has magic in it, but maybe it doesn't. regardless, I want to give it a try. Then the other Bennett sister. There is, at some time in 2026, there's a mini series of this being released. And it will be in the US, it will be on BritBox. So when it does come out, I know I want to get a BritBox subscription just so I can watch it. And there are a few other things on BritBox, like Ludwig and there's a brand new Inspector Lynley series that has come out. So I do want to see those, but I'm waiting until the other Bennett sister is released, and then I want to watch it. I really have my hopes up for this one. In recent years, I know we have been let down by Austen adaptations, but I can't help but have my hopes up because of how much I love this book, and I just really, really hope they do it justice. It starts off sort of the tail end of Pride and Prejudice, and this is all from Mary Bennett's perspective. And then it follows for most of the story is after the events of Pride and Prejudice, and you're just with Mary and some other characters that as soon as I realized we were going to be spending much time with them, I was so excited. So yes, it's so good, and it's been several years since I read it. So I want to fix that. Then recommended by Christy Lewis of Dostoevsky in Space fame, and that is Wild Magic by Tamora Pierce. I did not grow up reading Tamora Pierce, and I want to finally give it a go. Christy is one of the hosts of a Tamora Pierce read-along, and they started with Alana, the Alana series, and just the timing didn't work out. I was not organized enough to join in that. And then I've heard Christy talking about Wild Magic and how she thinks it's a great entry point. So that is why I have chosen Wild Magic. And then the Beauty and the Beast retelling that I am excited about is Forgery of Fate by Elizabeth Lim. This was recommended by Amy from Amy of Hearthridge, and I have been interested in several of Elizabeth Lim's fairy retellings because she sets them, they are in an Asian setting, and they're always, always historical, and I really would love to see how she takes on Beauty and the Beast. So if I like that, I will try others by her, but just from how enthusiastically Amy spoke about this one, I knew it was the Elizabeth Lim that I wanted to start out with. And then I have thoroughly enjoyed all of the Green Rider books that I have read. I think I've read 5. I started last autumn, and it's such a good series. I'm very, very excited to have several more books ahead of me, and a new one was released this past autumn. So I will put up on the screen whatever one is next in this series that I'll be reading. And then I am very excited to continue on with the Black Cauldron series by Lloyd Alexander, The Castle of Lear. And it's a very cozy series with lots of human connection with the characters. And that is what I really long for in books. I like the setting to be interesting. I like it to be whimsical and wonderful, but the character relationships, that is the most essential thing for me. And it makes me so sad, but it is what has held me back from wholeheartedly loving the Septimus Heap series. I started off so excited about that series, and it breaks my heart because her writing style is stellar. I get on with her writing style so much. I love all of the characters. But at the end of the day, it's like the plots are the point of the series and not the characters. And why I love, the Harry Potter series so much is the plots and settings are the avenue in which you get to know the characters even better. So that's my little side tangent. Okay, then another historical fiction recommended by Amy, and that is A Heart Adrift. Laura France is an author I've really wanted to try based on how Amy has become a Laura France completionist. And Amy, just our reading style is so similar. So I really want to try this author that she loves. And she said it is The Blue Castle meets Persuasion. I did not need to be told anymore. So very excited to try that. Then a Cinderella retelling called Mystery at the Midnight Ball by Kristen Needfelt. And the prince and Cinderella, I think they meet at a ball, and then they don't see each other for 8 years. And then somehow they're reunited, and there's a mystery in the castle that they solve together. And I listened to a sample of the audiobook, and I love the narrator. So I'm very excited about this. I'm really hoping it could be one that I love. If you've watched my channel for any amount of time, then you'll know that I hosted I did a project on my own called the Cinderella Chronicles, where I just read as many retellings, picture book adaptations, and watched movie adaptations of Cinderella as I could. It is my all-time favorite fairy tale. I love the story of Cinderella's resilience, and the riches to rags to riches motif, all of it. I just eat it up. And then I kind of ran out of Cinderella retellings. I didn't run out, but I think I just ran out of steam with the project. But my enthusiasm for the actual fairy tale of Cinderella has not decreased at all. So I'm very excited to have a new one to try. And then, speaking of Cinderella retellings, I recently read, it's called Once Upon a Midnight Clear by Michelle Miles. Is that right? Michelle Miles, yes. And it was a Cinderella retelling set at Christmas, and it was very fun, very sweet. And it's the first in a whole series of retellings, and I have access to all the audio. So I'm very much looking forward to continuing. The next one is a Snow White retelling. I think I've one time tried a Snow White retelling, and I just didn't really get on with that one. But the actual concept of the fairy tale of Snow White, I love. So I really hope maybe I'll get on with this one. But I have a plot synopsis. I could see it going either way based on what she's going to do in this one, where it seems like the evil stepmother, the huntsman, he wants Snow White to overthrow the evil stepmother. So she goes around, it sounds very swashbuckling. So I could see myself loving it, or it could just go south. We're going to have to see. So yes, that is Once Upon a True Love's Kiss by Michelle Miles. Now, there is a novella in between, but after that is a Sleeping Beauty retelling that really, really sounds up my street. So even if I end up not getting on with Once Upon a True Love's Kiss, I'm still very excited to try the Sleeping Beauty retelling. Okay, then imagine my elation when I found out that Owl's Nest Publishers announced they would be making an audiobook of Son of the Deep by K.B. Hoyle. Oh my goodness. This book has a piece of my heart. It is a Little Mermaid gender bent retelling. I've read it 3 times and I've loved it more with each reading. And so I'm just over the moon. It's available on audio and I cannot wait to relive the story. Ideally, I do love to read this book when we go to the beach. And that happens once every 2 years. But I'm just too eager and excited about this. And honestly, I love this book so much. I could see myself then already excited to reread it again when we're at the beach later on in the year. Then two Gail Carson Levine, and that is The Two Princesses of Bamar and Ella Enchanted. These are some of my all-time favorite fairy tale retellings. Ella Enchanted is a Cinderella retelling when baby Ella is gifted obedience by a fairy, and all the ways that makes her life horrible and complicated. And the book really kind of grapples with autonomy. And then The Two Princesses of Bamar, I really love how it's a story of the love these two sisters have for one another and how they will go to the ends of the earth for each other. And it's so beautifully told. Now, one I kind of want to reread, but I'm scared that it won't live up to my memory, and that is Uprooted by Naomi Novik. Now, I have such a complicated relationship with it because I tried it once and DNF'd it. And then I felt like I had the right expectations to try it again, and I completely loved it. And I've been scared to reread it ever since. So we're gonna see. I love it. It's an Eastern European setting, and it's a Beauty and the Beast retelling. I really hope I could be in the movie. I remember loving the narrator. So we shall see. Then a middle grade of Salt and Shore by Annette Schaap. And this, I don't know what genre this falls under, but I know there's a girl who something happens where she's having big consequences for some actions that she does, where she's banished to this big mansion or castle, and just the look of the cover really pulls me in, and I could go for some middle grade. So we're going to see. I think it's translated, and I am really excited to give it a try. Then, The Maid of Sherwood Forest. This is kind of like Outlander, but without the adult content. And so our main character, Marianne, ends up time traveling, and she is gallivanting about with Robin Hood and his merry men. And since her name is Marianne, I think she's going to fall in love with Robin Hood. That's what I think is going to happen. Then Daughter of the Forest by Juliette Marillier. Ever since the first time that I read Daughter of the Forest, I could not wait to reread it. And then 2 years ago, I reread it, and it was just the best way to start off my reading year. I did not let myself read it last year because I want to keep it this special beacon of light in my life, and I don't want the glow to be taken away from it. So I thought 2 years is enough of a gap. I'm allowed to read it again. And then Just Ella. And this is a book I'm so excited to revisit. It's a sweet romance, and Ella is a princess, and she feels quite conflicted about this, and I just love the gentle slice of life pacing of it, and really looking forward to being back in that world. And then eventually I would love to continue on with the series because I love that first one so much. And then we have The 9 Moons of Han Yu and Luli by Karina Yan Glaser. So I have spoken a lot about Karina Yan Glaser's Vanderbeekers series and how much I love and adore it. So this is a very different kind of book. It's historical fiction. I think it's split timeline and ancient China. I can't remember the time period, but just all of that. I would love to see this very different kind of story from her. Okay, that is my big of possibilities. I love being so mesmerized by these options. I'm really hoping this will be a great antidote to winter blues, having many beautiful books to choose from. And also now I'm thinking this winter I'm in the mood for other things, like rereading some of the Anne books and the All Creatures Great and Small series. I'm feeling very enamored with Harry Potter currently, so I'm not limiting myself to this. If there is one that's in the pile that you're like, Kate, one that I haven't read before, and you're like, I really want to know what you think of that, I will see if I could prioritize that one. Thank you as always for watching. I really hope you're having a wonderful day, and I will be back with another video soon. Bye!